How you doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I hope you have a good day.
Hope you have a better week.
I hope your month is full of successful days and a lot of great ventures. I hope you just come up, brother.
I hope your whole fucking year is spectacular.
Oh, you hope my year is spectacular?
Yeah.
You got something you want to say to me?
You got something you want to say?
Episode of One Gotta Stay's One Geek Tournament. We're going to be about that action. That's going to be a day that you will always remember as a day that you almost caught easy choices. Okay, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. These choices are always impossible. But we find a way, whether or not we choose poorly or we push through the years and the mileage that these choices put on us. We're going to keep it moving as you wish. With this list, I'm telling you, choices are going to be shaken and stirred in so many different ways that we are going to have to repeat the names over and over and over again to remind ourselves these choices aren't going to kill us.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Or maybe they will. With that, if you think you know what the list is for next week, put it in the comments. What up, family? It's your boy Amaru, and we are back. We are live with another episode of One Gotta Stay's One Geek Tournament, the show where I give this lovely panel here 6 almost impossible options to choose from, and they only get to keep one. We are in the middle of our One Geek Tournament. We're moving over to the second part of our wild card bracket. Last week, we've figured out our first round 2 with joining Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader are the 2 Star Trek winners in Spock and Data. But this week is what I think might be one of the hardest choices we've had. Going into the action adventure round, we got Jack Sparrow, Indiana Jones, James Bond, Sir Ian Malcolm, Dread Pirate Roberts himself, Westley, and that guy, Inigo Montoya. But from those gentlemen to these gentlemen over here, my illustrious panel for today. Last episode, he was supposed to be on, but he got sick. I had to just throw comments from him in the back, but you know what? He's on live and in person now. Question writer extraordinaire for the Schmodown, Mr. PJ Campbell. PJ, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm glad to actually be here this week, all things being equal, and it looked like we actually did all right with the Star Trek thing. So I feel really good about that. Even though I wasn't there, the right choices were made, and I can only hope that the panel today also made the right choices.
We will see if somebody chose poorly, because last week Matt wasn't even happy with the daggone list. And I know a couple people here a little upset about who's on the list, but we're given what we're given. Before we get to that, we will go to one half of the movie, guys. THE, the Paul Preston. Paul, how are you doing, sir? Great to have you on.
Greetings, Amaru. It's also Emmanuel, am I correct?
That would be my brother, Emmanuel.
Your brother, Emmanuel?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
Points to your brother. I want to shout out to your brother on this show who donated to the Karen Volpe Preston Legacy Fund Scholarship, which I've been raising money for around this time every year. It was remembering her birthday. So that's my late wife, and Emmanuel donated. When 2 things I'm passionate about, MTS and education combined, I'm there. So tell your brother, Emmanuel.
It is also his birthday today. So
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Manny, we love you, sir.
I don't know a lot of Moses, so I'm like, is that Amaru's name? Has he got some stage name or something? Going on? Okay.
I am basically his clone, just 4 years younger. I'm the same guy. It's just, yeah.
You got a clone. That's how you do it.
Shout out to Manny.
Tell him for me, and although he'll probably watch this, and then I'm thanking him here. So.
Will do, for sure. Will do, and he'll see it later. And I know he'll appreciate it as we appreciate you and what you're doing with that great cause, sir. Thank you. Under him, minus the usual thing on his shoulder, the Barbarian. Mr. Craig, is it Gainier?
Gainier. Let me let my head on. There we go.
Emmanuel.
He's ready to argue. Barbarian.
Great
How are you
Gagne?
doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. You know, there's many within my family. People don't even agree on how it's supposed to be pronounced, so I accept anything. I even accept the name Greg is apparently a lot of people started calling me. It's okay. I'm doing great. It's funny though that what Paul was saying. I think about what Emmanuel said about the two things he's passionate about, being MTS and teaching. I feel like in education, those are two things that you are also passionate about. So I can see why he would have assumed it was you. But yeah, I am very excited to be here today. This is an illustrious group, almost as illustrious as my great hair. And I'm ready to.
Nothing's as illustrious as your hair, bro.
No, I know. I was giving you guys a little too much props, but yeah, no, I'm super excited to get to talking.
All right. Next to him, the Smasher, the maybe soon to be Intergeekdom champion. We'll see in the Schmodown, but more importantly, a man who has gone through many battles, and he's here with us. So happy to be here, Mr. Kevin Smets. Kevin, how you feeling, sir? I hear you're not happy about a couple of things, though.
Well, I'm not happy I don't have as nice hair as Craig, or Greg, as you call it. Yeah. No, I'm good. You know, there's not enough female representation here. Could have had Elizabeth Swann, who hoisted the colors and led an entire pirate armada against the evils in the sea. Furiosa? Come on. But I am happy with some of the choices here. I'm happy with my list. I'm happy to see all you. I'm doing the Brady Bunch thing here. I'm happy to see everybody here. I should be studying for my match on Friday. So if I lose, I'm going to blame you, Amaru, and then I'm coming for you. So, But other than that, I'm happy to be here.
It's all part of my plan. Belt from you. But anyway, last but not least, the other half of the movie, guys. The greatest Olford player in a division ever. You're going to keep coming back. We do not care whether you win or lose. Just keep playing, sir. We love you to death. Fan favorite, Mr. Adam Witt.
Thank you. The question I ask myself going into every match is, what's the funniest outcome? And I think by driving myself that way, that is why I've become a fan favorite and why I never have to study. Study? Smasher, what are you doing? Yeah. What are they going to stop loving you? Yeah, come on, get out of here.
You can tell it's never, what's the answer, right? So.
But with that, just as a reminder that these gentlemen can only keep one of these amazing characters from action-adventure geek franchises, Ian Malcolm, Indiana Jones, Inigo Montoya, and Westley from Princess Bride, James Bond, or Jack Sparrow. So you know what? Let's get into it. Starting with Mr. Witt. Adam, your number 4. Who did you have as your number 4?
My number 4, which I sent to you, I was prompted, hey, everybody get your list in. I sat down and I thought about it for a couple minutes. This may not be the best number 4, I'm going to say. I think I could easily swap my 3 and 4. However, since they both got to go, because only one of these can stay, my number 4 was Westley and the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Why are you getting... Why? The man is beautiful.
It's because 2 other characters sucked way worse. I mean, we're just way more useless than this character. I mean, this is number 4. This is a great character. I love that he's the Dread Pirate Roberts and Westley. He lives in 2 worlds, 2 mythical kingdoms, 2 great fantasy universes. You know, the world of pirates and you know, then the world of swordsmen and all that sort of stuff. It's great, but he's just not as good as several other epic characters that we have to talk about.
I don't think I'm too mad at that. But he's one of the ones I was surprised that made this list, because Princess Bride got a lot of love here. Does anybody else feel the same way? Does anybody else?
He lacks epicness.
Yeah, that epicness it might not be there, but does anybody else, Mr. Carey Elways, however you pronounce his name, anybody have Westley as their number 4?
I don't know. He didn't make it that high, but I have to say,
he didn't make it that high
Adam, you chose Westley.
Some could say wisely. Wesley.
Possibly. Oh, all right. Well, either, as a couple of them said, not that high. Some of them might be surprisingly not that low. But you know what? Mr. Smets, Kev, how about you? Where are you going with your number 4?
I went with his fencing partner for a little bit at least, Inigo Montoya. I actually prefer his character to Westley. I don't know if that's giving away where Westley might fall, but I just think that I like his story of revenge. I like his famous quote that he says over and over. We could all recite that, and I like that he kind of goes on a little bit of a journey and an arc. So that's why I kind of had him where he's at. I think that, to be honest, both characters from Princess Bride shouldn't be on this list.
It's a rough go.
Mad Max should be on the list.
It's a rough go for him. Yeah.
I think Mad Max only got 2
one has to
votes.
stay, one has
Sorry,
to go.
sir.
They all have to go. But yeah, I actually love, you killed my father, prepare to die. I love that whole sequence. And I know he got bested by Westley in their first little stuff, but then they come together, right? So, like, I don't know.
But everybody has said that quote. Everybody, over and over, has said it is one of these just most quotable.
Iconic.
I love that
Wesley
man.
do you hear?
That's how he made the list.
What Wesley do you hear?
I would
As you wish.
No.
Yeah, I guess so. Put it in the video. Does anybody else have Senor
To
Montoya?
blave. Doesn't he say that?
No.
To blave. I think
You seem a good fellow. I hate to kill you.
Yeah.
No, that was Inigo's goes. You seem a good fellow. I hate to die.
Does anybody else have Inigo Montoya as their number 4?
I do. And if it weren't for Ghostbusters, Princess Bride would be the most quotable movie of all time.
It's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's just quote after quote after quote. I like the man on a mission. I mean, Wesley's certainly on a mission because his whole life gets disrupted and he has to get back on track. But who knows how, I can't remember how long it was that Montoya has been on this mission. The 6-fingered man. You don't by chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand. My father, slaughtered by the 6 finger. I mean, it just goes on and on with this adventure he has. There will be blood tonight. There's so much great stuff. And they got Broadway's Mandy Patinkin to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like, Rob Reiner should be on this list for some kind of award for accomplishing that. Like, what are the odds? But so I just like the mission that he's on and the skills that he has. It puts it a little over Westley because, I mean, Cary Elwes, we mentioned him. Is he Harrison Ford, John Connery, Johnny Depp, Daniel Craig even?
No.
Not so much. But Mandy Patinkin is not either, but the fact that they got this much out of Homeland's Mandy Patinkin, out of Evita's Mandy Patinkin is impressive. But that's some behind the scenes stuff. But regardless, it's basically the full thrust of it is quotable and man on a mission. It's so much fun to watch and it culminates in the end. It's fantastic.
Well, not fantastic enough to save him, I guess. But that's all right. We're going to keep it moving.
That's
keep
true.
it going.
Tough competition.
It is tough competition. PJ, what is your number 4 in this very tough competition?
All right, so this is a character that, I like the character a lot, and it was a character that I think just defied all expectations for the company that was making the movie, and that is Jack Sparrow. This was a character that, as they were making the movie, everyone was like, man, this is going to be awful. They wanted to fire Depp. Everything about the production seemed like haphazard, thrown together, but the character ended up being so endearing that he ended up being the lead character for the next 4 movies. He was so good that they put him in a theme park attraction, and they completely changed the history of one of Disney's most iconic rides to add him into it. But he also turned out he couldn't really lead the movies, so I'm going to put him at 4, but he's so fun regardless.
I'm sorry, did you say he couldn't lead the movies?
Yeah, he's not a great lead character. He's a much better support.
I don't care really much about any of the other characters in that film. If not for Jack Sparrow. What are you talking about?
He's better as an ensemble piece than making him the main piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does make for diminishing returns because the movies start increasingly relying on him to carry the entire movie, and that's exactly that decline. Yeah.
This show feels very around the horn, and if it were Amaru, I'd be loading the points up on you right now for that response to BJ.
Come on.
I understood that reference.
So did I. But just because the movie sucked, Jack Sparrow was there for a reason. He's one of the most
Yeah, but when you start to be the reason that it's declining too, and that's a problem.
Sure, fine, whatever. Does anybody else agree with this very ridiculous statement?
What?
So you think that he pulls off pirates less good than? Well, see, I don't know if you have Dread Pirate Roberts in your or any of the other.
We shall see.
Look, so I also had Jack Sparrow at number 4, but again, it's not. This is less a knock on Jack Sparrow and more of just, we have a lot of very iconic characters to choose from, 100%. And of them, Jack Sparrow is the only one who isn't always the hero of the story. It's if you watch these films, he's the best part of the stories. He's often working against the main character. He's also double crossing everyone in the movies.
He's a pirate.
He's a pirate. Yeah, no. Yeah. Look and look. We've
got a list full of double dealers here.
I got a drink to Jack Sparrow because he's the one of the most fun things about him is his alcoholism. But
and truly, I think
why
truly
is the
was
rum
also
gone?
Truly was a drink of choice for Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
it truly was. Oh, no, well, see, this is the ocean waters. This is like a seltzer water. It's like the 7 seas, But no, it's he is. He made it all the way up to number 4 on my list because of how funny he is and how I even love some of the worst Pirates films, especially because of him. But he's not. How many times did he actually save the day? Not a lot, but but it's still fun watching him walk that plank, walk that tightrope that he does every movie with the swagger, Savvy.
Totally. I guess. Sure, whatever. You know what? I'm just going to stop hearing all this nonsense and go to mine. My number 4, yes, this was a pretty difficult list. And very honestly, between 3, 1 to me was fairly easy. 6 to me was fairly easy. It was like the 3-4 range that was a little all right, I'm going to switch. I can go back and forth. This guy to me, though, I love him. I love him to death. The actor himself is probably one of the most likable guys ever. But Ian Malcolm is just probably.
Did someone throw the host off of his own show?
Who does Ian Malcolm beat out?
I have the controls. Ian Malcolm is my number 4. And I will say, for me, it is a lot what Craig said. It's just the other 3 I have in front are, to me, more iconic. Just I love them a lot more. I like Ian Malcolm. Sorry, whoever likes Alan Grant. Ian Malcolm is top Jurassic Park for me.
Wrong.
100%.
Alan Grant is the greatest movie character of all time.
Oh, God.
Alan, no, I'm sorry. The Goldblum.
That's the Raptors thing. You can't blame him for a Raptor dream.
That was his subconscious mind.
His dream. It was his dream. But
it was his
dream. The sexy shirt, the way
we can't blame Joe Johnston. Joe Johnston's God.
Goddamn right he is.
Sorry.
He's amazing, but
Jurassic Park 3 is a treasure.
I actually kind of like Jurassic Park 3. It's not that bad. Maybe it is. I don't know.
No, it's
not. But for me, Ian Malcolm is.
Then quote it.
I did already. I quoted the Raptor. It's the most quotable thing.
We keep talking about Jurassic Park 3, in which Ian Malcolm does not appear.
He doesn't appear. That's the thing. He doesn't appear. And after Jurassic Park, one of the greatest films of all time, even though I didn't put it in my top 100, but whatever. That's another story. As a child, I purposefully did not watch Jurassic Park. When Jurassic Park 2 came out, when Lost Ark came out, I on purpose went to go see Life with Mikey instead of Jurassic Park. So I kind of came late to the party. So I didn't know the amazingness that was Jeff Goldblum as much. I kind of known the other characters. I had a little bit more. And for me, he's just a actually, no, he's a pretty far below the 3 I got before them, but pretty high than the other 2. So yeah, that's where I'm just at with this guy. I think
William H. Macy from Jurassic Park 3 didn't make this list. I'm gathering that.
No. Kirby Peyton Top Plus didn't even sniff any of this.
Paul Kirby.
No.
Respect on Paul Kirby's name.
Not at all. I believe that is the last. I am the last to choose. So we're gonna just give a quick recap. of everybody's number 4s. Well, I got rid of Ian Malcolm. Paul and Smets both got rid of the man, the myth, Inigo Montoya. Wit did not like Dread Pirate Roberts. And PJ and Barbarian don't like fun. But it's okay. They got rid of Jack
That's
Sparrow.
not what we said. That is not what we said.
We
If
like
there's
fun.
more,
We like
yeah.
heroes better.
Yeah,
Sure.
we like other people more than Jack Sparrow.
Oh.
I'm sure. And that is somewhat true. Sure. But you know what? We're going to keep it moving. PJ, we're going right back to you.
All right.
All that mess we're talking. Who's your number 3?
It's funny because you were just talking about my number 3, and that's Ian Malcolm.
Thank you.
Doesn't make the top 2, but Ian Malcolm is still iconic. So iconic that he was the one character in Jurassic World they brought back before the other ones. He's a character that, like, after number 1, they were like, we're going to give you your own movie. And he actually works as the lead of his own movie. And I don't love Lost World, but Goldblum is so good that I like watching it. So for me, he's always been a character that I enjoy watching. Goldblum's performance is always good, and I can't wait to see him again this summer with his other, 2 partners. It's going to be super exciting.
It's going to be the greatest movie of all time.
I mean, how is it not? Absolutely.
I concur.
I mean, Inception is out there, as is Blind Spotting, but that's okay. I'm going to stop giving the slander to Jurassic Park. I actually love the hell out of it.
I don't know if you do, man. I'm going to be honest. The way you keep talking.
It wasn't my thing growing up, but it is amazing. I
You better not land on an opponent's choice against me, buddy. I'm putting Jurassic Park on the wheel for you.
Go ahead and do that. That'll be a great time for me. You're
talking to the reigning Jurassic Park exhibition champion.
For now, buddy.
Bring it.
Does anybody else have Ian Malcolm as their number 3? They
Wait
do
a minute.
not. Okay.
Are we gonna get the floor for our 5 and 6, or will they just be a mention? Or should I?
I think that's before we reveal 1.
You'll get a bit of a floor because we're going to talk about everybody.
Because I don't know if I should use that rant to retort against your comments just now, or hang on.
Go ahead and do that now. That's fine. Go ahead and do that now.
Ian Malcolm is a character that adventure happens to. He is not an action adventure character.
Yes,
he is brilliant. He's often commenting on man's hubris, but he's responding to danger, not going on his own adventures. And I love Goldblum as much as anybody else, but voting within the context of the greatest action adventure characters, he responds to it, entertaining as hell, but he's not going off on adventures. He's super reluctant most of the time. So, but anyway, that's my retort.
Owen Grady's more of an action adventure character.
Not wrong. Yeah.
But can I say, in retort to your retort, Ian Malcolm is reluctant to go on these adventures because he's the smartest man in the room, and he knows that these adventures are bad effing ideas.
And and it's turned out to be true every single time.
Every time.
He is the smartest man in the room. Every movie.
Craig, since you're in the news of retorts, let's give some retorts for your number 3.
All right, I feel like I might get a little flack for this. I feel like this might be some people's. If you had a different panel, this could be everyone's number 1. But my number 3 is James Bond, and again, he's only that low because he's got such strong competition. But here's the thing about James Bond. Which James Bond are we even referring to? Because James Bond is a different person depending on who's playing him. And the other part is, look,
there's
James
some
Bond,
traits that carry over, but go ahead.
British.
Exactly.
That's the one trait. Always British. Well, sort of.
Except one time.
Yeah, exactly. No, look, James Bond has saved the world many times. We have, we have 25 James Bond films, and that's incredible. How many of them are good? Have y'all seen
27
the one where,
movies actually, buddy?
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm referring
Challenge.
to the Brock.
He's in the most movies, therefore he's in the most bad movies. That's true.
The Eon Pictures 25 plus the 2 others. Yes. Anyway, but have you seen the one where he trains to be a ninja? That's not a good movie.
First one I saw in theaters.
And I'm just saying that the world, again, I love James Bond, so I don't want to be arguing against him, but I'm just saying the reason why he's not even higher. I put him above my number 4, who I also love, but for James Bond, it's I feel like a lot of the older stuff hasn't aged well in like a number of ways. Like each individual movie has different reasons why it hasn't aged, like, you know, why it's dated. And, you know, the other, I feel like the others are just that much better than them. That's all I'm going to say. It's the other two, my 1 and 2, I feel like, you know, I have no knocks on. And then James Bond, it's, you know, you know, I almost feel like my favorite James Bond was this last one. I loved it. I know a lot of people didn't you know, there were certain things I didn't like about it. Thought it was a fantastic film. Thought they made some interesting choices. Now Paul's sitting here, he's gonna yell at me.
I was gonna say,
Craig, you just have
murder you.
You just have some nerve coming
you
out
realize
here.
the director of probably everyone's number one wanted to do that movie, and then when he couldn't, he created Indiana Jones. Oh, sorry, he created what everybody's number one probably is. So I mean, it's the elephant in the room, but like,
yeah. Look, Annie, my point is, look,
He's pretty good.
I got a picture of I have a Daniel Craig poster on my wall for Cowboys and Aliens, but that's, you know, because Cowboys and Aliens is a combination of James Bond meeting Indiana Jones, and I thought, whoa.
I'm really glad that you're willing to admit out loud that you have a Cowboys and Aliens poster up in your apartment.
Look, let me just rotate this.
Oh no, we believe you.
I'm
We
not.
believe you. It's just that you're willing to say it. Like, and I like that movie, but
I'm just saying. Look, when I look at my wall and see Harrison Ford and Daniel Craig standing side by side, do I not get joy? I get joy. Anyway,
that's fair.
You just have some gall coming on here being subjective, Craig.
Right. Does anybody else have James Bond as their number 3?
Are you kidding me?
No, Craig. I'm sorry. Not at all. So we're going to move it over to Mr. Paul Preston. Paul, who is your number 3?
We talked about him. Oh yeah.
Can I say briefly, if we would have started at 6 and worked our way up, I feel like having James Bond at 3 would have been like, because I would have said 3 other people below him. So it's not like I'm that low on James Bond.
You're pretty low on James
That's why
Bond.
I started.
It would have been increasingly obvious at this point.
Can I just say I love the graphic for this show? Moses, Campbell, Witt, Smets, Preston, Barbarian. I just love
Yes.
that.
Yes, I had a Barbarian on that.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow is my number 3, the reluctant hero, but he has the skills to be great. And so when they're called into question, you can see how great he is. But the mere size of the adventures he's involved in are just eye-popping. You know, they're crazy. And so, I mean, we debated back and forth on Jack, so I won't go on forever. But I do think, I mean, a pirate is essentially an adventurer. So he fits the bill. He does it well. Again, you have to coax him into being a hero. But even he's still an adventurer, even when he's doing it for nefarious reasons. So good guy, bad guy, whatever. I dig on Jack Sparrow for my adventure needs. And yeah, I can't get behind all the films, but that first one.
Dude, that first one's a perfect movie.
It was a perfect movie. The much-deserved Oscar nomination because, I mean, the Disney execs went down to the set and went, what is he doing? How do we stop
they
it?
wanted to fire him. Like,
And of
they
course,
wanted to get rid of him. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're all
That's
wrong as
how
ever.
amazing he is at this role. Didn't you just talked about like adventure happening? The dude just does adventure. But anyway, does anybody else have Jack Sparrow?
He has
as
the
their
greatest
number 3?
entrance, one of the greatest entrances in the history of film.
And
you can only imagine
that entrance.
what adventure just happened to him that
Right.
caused that.
on the
So,
Jolly Mon, yeah.
Yeah, he's seeking it out. It's just that, you know, to be good, I guess, to rephrase that, to be a good hero, he's reluctant and has to be coaxed into it. But he's always up for adventure.
Yeah, that's pretty
Anybody
much.
else have Jack at number 3?
I got Jack at number 3.
And Smets.
And,
Okay.
and I could have went Dread Pirate Roberts here too, but now I'm glad that I put Jack here because, like, all of these characters have some sort of, you know, these are big adventure characters, and I gotta say, like, a lot of the Dread Pirates Roberts myth we don't see, you know, a lot of Wesley's, you know, backstory. It's obviously, you know, some voiceover, this sort of thing, but the idea, like Jack Sparrow, Paul nailed it. He has so many big adventures, and definitely. My top 3 all have great entrances, and Jack Sparrow is no exception. His character just comes fully formed. I think a lot of these better characters are just like, you're like, is this, when you watch the first one, you're like, is this the 4th Jack Sparrow movie? If you didn't know, if you were like, oh, there's 4 others out there, and you're like, oh wait, maybe this one's He's already, maybe all those other moves already happened. Maybe I watched him out of the wrong order because he just comes so fully formed. Yeah.
And he has no growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
He is.
I don't need, but I don't need that.
He
But
might
it's
not.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, very few of the characters on
Pulp
here
heroes don't really grow.
Right. I was going to say very few pulp heroes actually show a lot of growth at the end of the day, and Jack is no exception. But his
They're kinda here to
character's so
do
good,
the
you
5
still like
things.
it. Like it's a fun character.
Kev, you also have Jack at number 3. Why do you have Jack at number 3?
Yeah, I think it's the top 3, and then the bottom 3. There's like such a far difference. Yes, Sparrow rounds out my trilogy for sure. He has a quote. He says, like, at one point, I have a rendezvous beyond my horizon. Like, he is so full of adventure. Bring me that horizon. He's so full of adventures. And, talk about growth, too. Like, you think that he's selfish, but, like, when he is part of the pirate, when they're voting for the pirate leader, and he's the only, every pirate votes for themselves except him. He votes for Elizabeth Swann because he knows that she needed to be the leader for them to take on the Brits and all that. So, for me, it's no question. I love him. I know that he's a pirate, so that's why he kind of double crosses people and stuff like that. But all of his adventures are great. Yeah, his entrance is classic, and all of the different situations that he gets involved in across all 5 movies. And yeah, he's the reluctant. He doesn't want to go after half the things that he does, but he does in the end. And sometimes I think that's a stronger trait is when they're reluctant and then they do it anyway. So. Yeah, Jack Sparrow just epitomizes adventure. That's crazy. I really didn't know about that whole backstory of how they wanted to let him go. Just imagine how those movies would be without him. They would feel very bland. I'm curious how the new ones will be. I'm not necessarily a fan of them adding it to the original to the ride at Disneyland. I mean, it's cool they did that. I wonder if they'll take it out with all of his drama. But yeah,
he ain't helping it.
Yeah,
he's not helping it. But it's another story for another time.
Yeah. But yeah,
he's now that guy from that TV show.
And he rocks eyeliner, dude. Come on, he rocks eyeliner and swings across boats and steals the Dauntless to get the interceptor. That's such a great creative way to steal the ship.
So good. Movie's full of so many great moves.
Sword fights ghosts, stares down the Kraken. He's a strong number 3.
Yeah.
No.
That Kraken shot.
I love Jack Sparrow. Just love James Bond more.
Well, you don't love him obviously enough, Craig. So.
Obviously. Speaking of ones I don't love obviously enough, it's just me and me alone again as the last number 3. Let me just for Band-Aid.
What did you do, Amaru?
Are you fucking kidding me, Amaru?
Okay.
Are you joking right now?
I am not.
What did you do, Karen?
I am
What
not.
did you do?
Aaron!
What are you putting at number 3? Oh my God, Amaru!
Aaron!
Can we throw the host off his own show?
What did you do, Ray?
There he is. Out of here.
Thank you.
No.
Jesus Christ!
Indiana Jones is my number 3, and I'm
what in the world are you number
gun.
1 2?
All right, well,
Indiana Jones is my
enjoy that
number
lonely gun.
Oh,
yeah,
it
enjoy
is,
being
it is,
wrong.
It is
just
very lonely.
wrong.
It is very lonely. Here's the deal.
Did you stock up on bandages so you can treat yourself when you pulled that hot take out of the oven? Like, are you able to?
Yes.
All right, good.
We named the dog Amaru.
Here's the deal. Look, you want to start that PLD? I'll take my always Ed Harris hashtag back. Don't make me do it. Come on, man. Yes, it is. Look, I have Indy as number 3. Indiana Jones is amazing. We did it all. Indy, the top 3 are great for me. All of these guys are great. Here's my deal with Indy. I like so many other people on the screen more than him than when he's on the screen. I like Short Round more. I like Sala more. I like Marion more. I like Henry Jones Sr. more. I get more fun going to those people and getting them on the screen than I do with Indy. And I love Indy. But this is what it is.
I'm just going to keep leaving this right here.
I cannot think of a bad scene with Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones on the screen.
Thank you.
But there are multiple times where I am like, what is Salah about to say? Freaking Short Round is killing it. but especially when you get Sean Connery on the scene, my eyes go to him.
Now you're making that up.
You're
making that up because there's no way. Harrison Ford is so carved out of movie stone, like whatever stone they carved Bogart out of, that's what he carved out of. If that man is on screen with somebody else, you are not looking at anybody else on that screen. I think you are absolutely lying. Normally,
but Marion chewed his ass out in the bar in that first scene. Absolutely murdered him, and I immediately went to Karen.
He also turns and says, "Trust me," in the most iconic, looking, chiseled out of movie stone look in that scene. Ends up upstaging all the great stuff she's doing in that scene.
John Rhys Davies, just his smile and his voice, and I just love listening to him. And again,
not my Kingpin.
I will give you this:
I understood that reference.
That was for you.
The best fight, I think, the best fight in movie history is him saying fuck this, and shooting the dude with the sword. That is I love that. Love that
improv thing. That was like he had to go to the bathroom.
He was so sick. He was just like, fuck this, I'm done. But freaking short round being so damn just listening to him the whole time. But again, Sean Connery on the screen with Harrison Ford, and I want more banter and more snark and more one-liners from Sean Connery.
You love these characters with him because there seems to be one prevailing vice with every one of these characters. He's sharing the screen with Harrison Ford. Maybe Harrison Ford's creating that for you.
It's possibly. You keep giving reasons for why he should be higher on this list. By the way,
I don't understand everything around him. He higher tide rises all shit.
But it's not. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm going to go with what Craig said. They're all amazing. I love Indy on the screen, but as a character, as a character, I have more connection, or I like my 1 and 2 just a little bit more than I do Indy on his own. So
look at that.
It is
look at that face in Paul's shot there, man. Look at that.
Can we highlight Garth McMurray's comment in the chat there?
Paul, are you in the Well of Souls?
Paul just Jan de Bont came by and adjusted his camera. I think.
Can't make it go away.
I think
no, keep it.
Staff right now. 5 cadets.
It actually kind of looks a little bit like the opening
Yeah, the Well of Souls. He's in the Well of Souls.
I said,
"Come on down here, I'll show you."
What I said. I'm sticking by it. Yes, Indiana Jones is my number 3. I have the shows poorly. I really should update my GIFs every week, but I just got not enough time. That's why I put it in the video. But it's okay. It's okay. I chose it. That's what we're doing. Indy's at my number 3, and now here's where we are. Each of us now have our top 2 and our bottom 2. This is who we have left. I got rid of Indy and Ian Malcolm. Paul got rid of Inigo and Jack Sparrow. Witt also got rid of Jack Sparrow, and Westley was gone. Smets also got rid of Inigo and Jack Sparrow. A lot of people don't like Jack Sparrow, apparently, because that's who PJ got rid of along with Ian. And Barbarian did too. And Bond is surprisingly his number 3. He's gone too. But
he's my number 3. He's my number 3. He's so close to being saved.
So close to being saved, as well as Indy. But anyway, when you say Bond,
but I like Bond better. Well, same with Kevin and Adam and me.
We also have Crystal Skull. But anyway, so
that was a Wayans movie.
We're gonna get to our number 1s. Before that, please, if you're new to the channel, please go to bitesizebreakdown.com. I write reviews there. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share, tell your friends. Hope you're enjoying this. Before we get to our number 1s,
go there and yell at Amaru.
Do that,
please.
Please do.
Go yell at me, and let's see if more yelling is gonna come, because now we're gonna get into our bottom 2s. Our number 5 and 6.
Gotta go.
And as much as y'all gave me slack for Indy, James Bond needs to get the hell out of here.
Are you kidding me?
You are the Skim Bayless of this
And look at that combo, Westley and Bond. Like Not the same weakness, those two.
I've never wanted to put a show so bad live. At once.
Is it too,
And I,
is
and
it
I
too late
caught,
to
I
get?
caught some. I
Is
caught
yes.
flag for putting Bond number 3. Okay.
Is boring.
Yeah, Craig, you're forgetting.
Optimistic, and like the movies are fine. I give no shits about Bond. I care
Someone call
nothing
Cal
about
out.
the man. I like Sean Connery, but I don't give a damn what iteration of it is. Bond has no interest for me. Especially since Craig's Bond and every other movie is kind of shit. I don't care about that character. One bit iota of nothing. Bond, get your ass out of here. But that's me.
He's pulping harder than the rest of the crew here. I'll tell you that. He's
goddamn
pulping
right he
pretty
is.
hard.
Yeah.
I've
Too
got
late to get a manual to host.
Get the pulpness.
He might have the same choices as me. It might even be worse. We'll see. Paul has Ian and Westley as his 5 and 6.
Ian doesn't belong on this list. You're correct, Paul.
And I will just say, we don't know what Westley can do with one film. You know, it does not establish a stay vote, and then it was just where in the not staying, and you know, he was a water boy for half the movie.
He might have done all the same. He might have done all that same stuff that Jack Sparrow did in Pirates, just in the movies before we saw it. You know, but hey, I can only judge him on the one movie.
True. Adam has Inigo as his number 5, and Ian Malcolm is his number 6.
Right, because because at least Westley had the whole Dread Pirate Roberts thing. Inigo is just too simple that he didn't capture that whole pulpy vibe, whereas Dread Pirate Roberts became a legend, and then it was all about true love, and he was Westley, and so, like, there's just a lot more going on there than Inigo's pretty straightforward, memorable, of course, story. And Ian Malcolm, I'm not sure what he's doing in this. Was nobody from the movie Sphere available?
Is Neo not? Forget it. Never mind.
Zorro should have been. I'll lead in right in. Zorro should have been where Westley is, or at least somewhere on that.
Yeah,
list.
got him right.
And while we're about to put Ian Malcolm to bed, we've talked about Jurassic Park 2 and 3 because Ian Malcolm is in 2 and then not in 3. Can we just say how unlikely it was while watching like indie movies in, 93, where like the cast of Swingers, Boogie Nights, In the Name of the Father, like you could have never predicted like all those people are going to go on to Jurassic Park, Fargo are going to go on to Jurassic Park movies. Like
100%.
all those indie actors all went to Jurassic Park.
But
Definitely
definitely,
Spielberg name, man.
Let me
That's
have
Spielberg name.
my say real quick. But yeah, the reason Ian's down there, like you said, he shouldn't be on the list. Alan Grant could have been on the list. I was a big fan of having Mad Max on there or something, or Zorro for the Wesley spot. So Paul Preston looks like we cheated off each other's homework.
Yeah, possibly.
Max
it.
Patel.
You're a smart man.
PJ wasn't too far off either, having both Princess Bride characters as.
Oh wow, okay.
I
swipe.
I actually didn't come to Princess Bride in enjoying it until last year.
Okay.
It was a movie that I saw in high school that I didn't really connect with, and so I didn't really have any reason that I cared about the characters other than I liked Mandy Patinkin. So he'll always be great. Wesley is just kind of a character that exists. I like the movie now.
Oh, I am doing that.
Remember, we've only gotten to we haven't done our number 2s yet.
No, we haven't. There you go.
Yeah, you started eliminating a lot more.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot I was sharing the screen. I do that sometimes. But anyway, keep going, PJ.
Oh, that was it. I never really connected at the end of the day. And, you know, it's a great movie.
That's key.
I like it now, but, like, because I only came to it last year, all these other characters mean way more to me, and I connect with them more.
Yeah,
and action may not be the thing the Princess Bride leads with.
Right. It's more of an adventure romance, and that's great.
Right.
But these are not characters that are iconic. They haven't gone on to do more things because, again, we only had one film.
Yeah. And Barbarian tends to agree. Just switch them up. Craig has Inigo dead last.
Right, dead last.
I mean, look. I love The Princess Bride. It's a fun movie. I love to go back to it, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, these movies are, you know, they say that you know these characters are not, you know, we haven't gotten to spend as much time with them as we have the other characters, and also it's like, you know, Wesley's relationship with Buttercup's kind of screwed up. You know, she abuses the crap out of him, and he's like, I'm worried for this guy. I don't think that you know, he fell in love because she abused him. You know, so. You know, yeah.
By the way, you look at that whole list, and basically all of us are just the grown-up. Who's the kid from Wonder Years? Fred Savage. We're basically like Fred Savage. Like, nah, there's kissing in that one.
No, I just think for me that I just feel bad that some of I know I keep harping on it, but I wonder how our list would have been. I know the fans voted those guys in, and they have every right to, and that made it fun. But you could tell that the prevailing thought for us is that the bottom two for the most part. And I just wonder if we had a couple more iconic action adventure characters in this list, what our top threes would have been. It would have been,
yeah, there we go.
You're forgetting that.
There's so many here. If we wanted to get on crazy about it, let's go.
True.
Yeah.
We could do the Brendan Fraser and the Mummy films.
Yeah,
we have the list given
when I hopped on here.
Ethan Hunt,
Brendan
Jack
Fraser,
Reacher.
the Mummy films just didn't get that many votes with the action guys.
Because I think they suck, but I haven't watched them again to confirm that.
Wait, have you not? You think the Mummy '99 sucks?
Well, hold
I have control, and there is no Mummy slander on this channel ever. That is not happening here. Okay,
What?
Sorry,
Well,
go on ahead. Go
Then
ahead.
get rid of me because I.
Anyway,
here's one thing I think a dilemma all of us must face when looking at a movie that we loved when we were 12 or 10. Do I leave it where it? Mine is always that I won't go back and watch because I'm never sure how to answer this. Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. Do I leave it back there in high school as a date movie, or do I ruin it by watching it now? I feel like The Mummy is like that.
You know what? I held off on rewatching Howard the Duck for the longest time because everyone told me it sucked. And finally, because in her geekdom, I went back and rewatched Howard the Duck. I was like, this movie's amazing. Everyone else is fucking wrong. So
Dude, I like that movie so much. I bought it on 4K, Craig. I understand.
You want to see those?
It's a lot of Ks.
You want to see Play Duck in 4K. I know what you're asking. Those duck boobs.
Mummy holds up. 2 can't because it never was up to begin with. I don't think.
One of the first things I learned in college when I was taking German was how to say wo komme ich aus, sagen wir nicht sterben, sondern toten, which is German for where I come from. We don't say die, we say kill, which is Howard the Duck's big line.
And then he also at one point says, "Where's my shorts?" or whatever.
Well, yes, that's the. Yeah. I didn't learn how to say where. Wo ist meine? I don't know how to say shorts in German. Sorry.
But before we get into our number ones, I will say, for this list for action adventure, I had to veto a lot of the action guys like Bourne and John McClane, because then that would just go on and on and on and on. I tried to keep it as geeky as possible. The action adventure news like Wick and stuff might come in another tournament in another bracket. Somebody brought John McClane up. I was like, let's separate the action adventure with like the more sci-fi stuff. So that's where those guys coming from. But
where was
the
Ripley?
Mummy?
I know Ripley won the wild card, right? But why wasn't Ripley?
Ripley won in sci-fi, and freaking Sarah Connors, who I thought would be in because she was in sci-fi, who I thought would be on the list, got like 2 votes. It was
brutal.
I was
Sarah
like,
Connors
okay,
on your whiteboard.
Sure,
yeah.
But anyway, with that, we're gonna get straight into our number ones, and here's how the numbers play out.
Do we not say the number 2?
No, you talk about your number 2 because we talked about them like a good amount, so you can bring up your number 2, but we go straight into our number ones.
And can I just say, because you leaked your spreadsheet,
a little bit.
I don't think you've talked about Inigo Montoya yet.
I haven't, and I will. Don't worry about it.
Oh, top 2. That's
I haven't.
Everyone who get on their guard.
Yes, for me, Inigo was my number 2. Here's how the numbers play out. Because for me, Jack Sparrow is the one and the only one who is every time the man is on the screen, the character, I am looking at him. I am loving him. No matter how bad the film is, because kind of like Temple of Doom, I just don't want to watch that film again. Any movie with Jack Sparrow in it, I am absolutely loving the thing. The greatest entrance, with some of the greatest fights, some of the greatest lines, his ability, Johnny Depp's ability to just take a scene and make everything his own as that character. I absolutely love Jack Sparrow to death. And I had to keep him. That's what it was. I had to keep him. But the Smets, the movie guys, and Barbarian all had Indy. Well, PJ had a reason to tell me, fuck me, when I had Bond at number 6. Gentlemen, why did you save who you saved?
Can I start, since I was like the only one with the Bond thing? Is the only reason I had to put Indy at 2, and it was something that Smets said earlier, and Indy doesn't exist without the existence of Bond. And that was the whole thing, is that Spielberg wanted to make a Bond movie, and he never got the chance. And this was his way to do it with George Lucas. But on top of that, Bond over 25 movies has been able to show us different points of history of what's interesting in cinema. Martial arts movies become popular in the 70s. Make a movie where Bond is dealing with martial arts stuff.
I like that.
Star Wars gets big. We send Bond to space. Like, there's something very cool about this character living in this pulp world of anything can happen to him. Bourne becomes popular, and we got Casino Royale, which is arguably the best movie in that franchise. It's always found a way to create all these different versions of the things that we like in its own world, and it's always been interesting because of that. On
Han
top
Solo
of that,
dies, we kill James Bond.
yeah, exactly. Great. But on top of that, like, you get how many different actors? We've seen Connery, we've seen Brosnan, we've seen Dalton, we've seen Lazenby, we've seen Craig. Like, all these guys have gotten a chance to be these characters.
We did see him.
Yeah, it was one movie, and actually that movie's good. He's not great in it, but the movie itself is really good.
Did you ever read that like treatment, or was it like a rumor that they were going to do a Bond where the opening scene had all of the Bonds, like it would make it canon that they were all different Bonds and that Bond was a call sign or whatever? Honestly, and they were going to kill off like Timothy Dalton and all these different Bonds, and then it was going to be Sean Connery's last role where he has to go find out who was killing all the Bond secret agents.
It'd been amazing. And I felt like that the Craig years almost set up to do the same thing. Like, you could have still done it once they introduced that, like, 007 was being passed on to other people. Like, Bond as a character has influenced so much of our media and so much of our history, and, like, pulled from it too, that character just, there's a reason he's lasted 25 official movies, 2 unofficial movies, had so many actors, so many directors, so many writers. Like, this character has lasted for almost 60 years. He's that great, and that to me makes him the king of this list. It just, there's no one else like him, and we've gotten to see so many iterations, and I just think that's so cool.
But there's so many iterations where he's boring and just uninteresting. But okay,
to you have Jack Sparrow at number 1. I do not want to hear you fucking talking about Bond like that.
These characters are all about the things they do. Like, we like the things they do. Like, what are all of Bond's things? You got to deliver all the things. I'd say the same with Indiana Jones, the same with Jack Sparrow. You got to deliver all the things. If you're making a Jack Sparrow movie, I need the nautical fight. I need a sword fight. I need I want all the things for each of these guys. James Bond has a good collection of things.
Yeah.
So, look. There's a lot of good Bond, but there's also part of the reason part of the reason why Bond's lasted this long is because the people who owned the rights to it are like, we can keep making money, let's keep cranking them out. And also, like, the actor like Daniel Craig's like, well, I'm not going to end on Spectre because Spectre sucked. It's people, there's reasons that aren't about the positive aspects of these films that keep it going.
Yeah, somebody said earlier, I think it was Craig, that Bond saved the world this many times, whatever. Has he? Like, Craig saved it once, and it was in this movie, right? Yeah. Adam, didn't we figure that out? Right.
Yeah,
No Time to Die.
This was the first movie where he saved the world.
Yeah. In Casino Royale, he prevents Le Chiffre from getting money.
That's it.
Right. And then I think in
very
Spy
bold.
Who Loved Me, he saved the world.
Might have saved the world in that one.
I
I think Brosnan saved the world every time.
He did have a.
He might be the only one that saved the world every time.
Yeah.
I think.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies has ended up becoming his best movie because it is so prophetic to the shit that we are dealing with in real life. That movie, like, if you go back, very interesting.
It's the Fox News villain, right?
Yeah.
I'd love
go back and rewatch it. Very interesting.
You 4 gentlemen have Indiana Jones. Why am I wrong? Why am I completely and utterly wrong according to you?
But before we get into it, I just want to say briefly, because I think I'm the only one that had Ian Malcolm at number 2. There's one thing, and we said a lot about Ian Malcolm, but one thing I want to say that no one has brought up is, so we talked about him coming back for the sequel and being like, if you read the first book, he dies in the first book. And his character is so successful that they resurrect him in the second book. The prologue of the second book is like,
really?
Yeah, the Costa Rican government said I was dead, but there's like different levels of dead in Costa Rica, and I was only mostly dead, and so I'm alive, and I'm starring in this book now. Like,
wait, was Ian Malcolm in The Princess Bride? Just mostly dead?
No, Jurassic Park. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, mostly, exactly. No, they use basically the same reasoning when they in the prologue to the book The Lost World, there's the same reasoning as that that Ian Malcolm comes back.
Maybe after Michael Crichton had written that he was dying, he got in a car wreck and then got strapped to a bed until he changed the ending or something like that.
Amaru, I'll tell you why you're wrong. Exactly. There's a tagline for Indiana Jones, and I think we all know it. If adventure has a name,
it's Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones.
That's fantastic.
I yield my time.
Oh, great. May I take Smasher's time?
Go on ahead, sir.
All right. First of all, no one in this list is in a better movie than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's true.
Jurassic Park comes close. Maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean first one in there. Princess Bride, also brilliant. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is the finest film that any of these characters is in. More iconic moments than anyone in this list from that movie alone. Now, I'm going to talk mostly about that movie because when he gets into the sequels, then you're getting into what The Mummy tried to do. The Mummy couldn't even try to do Raiders of the Lost Ark because you can't. And you got the best actor to play these characters. I mean, I always talk about how Raiders is my favorite film of all time because it operates on every level at the highest level possible. The special effects were incredible for the time. They're still pretty damn good. There's only a couple shots that you go, The stunts were authentic and actually happened. And they went to Tunisia and they got dysentery because, everybody lazy green screen shit and they're not going on get sick, Yeah. The best
Don't get
actor,
crushed by a door.
Yeah. From the costumes and everything. To the score. I mean, John Williams composing out of his mind. I think he's also huge because I need another one also. Because Kevin Smets is going to come on the Ford Fiesta, I believe, sometime in the future and tell me why Crystal Skull is this great movie that I think is the worst movie I've ever seen. So I need to be turned around.
PJ, you're in too.
Yeah.
I'll change your mind, pal. You don't worry.
I'm looking forward to it.
This is Operation Flip Paul.
I still believe in the conspiracy theory that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was actually a Wayans Brothers film, and that's really Sean and Marlon disguised. And that's and it's not really canon.
I just shout out to the time that Smasher was doing a commentary live, and I was in the chat.
Yeah, I was there.
The commentary, yeah. What you were there with us? That was the best.
Yeah,
that was the show Kaiser, the glory that is Kingdom Skull, dude.
Yeah,
right.
Although I will say. I joke about that, but I will say, even with Kingdom of Crystal Skull, like people are like, "Oh my god, aliens!" And one's like, the whole the Indiana Jones has always been about equating like pulling in, like things about our history that we have like these like tall tales about, and trying to make it and having an adventure with it. It's like we don't pretend like people haven't been speculating that aliens built the pyramids, and the aliens built and part of that because there's pyramids both in both in Egypt and in South America. Like this is all like part of our culture. So that it's just as much as the things in the original trilogy were.
And in every one of those movies, too, whatever they're going after is called hocus pocus nonsense until it's not. It's actually the cask of God. It's actually, can take someone's heart out. All that shit turns so real.
Complaining about aliens or whatever, but like, do you not remember when someone took out a heart and it was still beating?
Right, 100%. Like these movies were always ridiculous. Dude, they jumped out of an airplane in an inflatable raft and then went down a.
I used to think that was possible as a kid. That was not.
I still think that's possible.
You didn't have an airplane to try.
I want to test it out.
Yeah, that's possible.
We talk about character art.
Mythbusters. They need to do a Mythbusters where someone jumps out of an airplane. I agree with Paul though. Like the perfect movie is like Raiders of the Lost Ark comes close. Same with Back to the Future. Those are like perfect scripts, perfect movies.
Jurassic Park is a perfect movie. Also,
1B for me.
Jurassic Park
might do more action than
I'll say this. I think every character in this list has a perfect movie, and that's pretty remarkable, all things being equal. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, I'm not done with Raiders.
Go.
What's so great about it?
Paul's thesis.
One of the greatest things about it is that it takes everything seriously and then has fun within the premises of real stakes. That's what I even think the sequels forgot, is they don't take it as seriously. They turn around to taking it seriously every once in a while. But throughout, I mean, the opening sequence with the CIA guys just lays it all out that you can't be screwing around here, but then they have some fun while not screwing around. And the thing I realized most recently, because I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark every year on a big screen somewhere, that's 90% of the reason I live in Los Angeles. And we saw it at the New Beverly a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a nuisance. Like, I just love that he's become this. Like, I watched it for the first time going, God, he's just a pain in the ass. There's an explosion on the dig site. And Belloc's like, what? And it's like, they just know it's this fucking guy. And he won't go away. And I love it. It's so much fun to watch. And that watching it from that angle this time. Now, the other thing I'm going to watch when I watch Crystal Skull again for the Ford Fiesta is Ford. Because doing the Ford Fiesta now, before I wanted just another great Indiana Jones movie and I didn't get it. But now I think I'm going to let all the nonsense go. Mac is dumb. Don't care about Shia. They can
Great
relate
cast.
to that. Jar Jar John Hurt's terrible. But the
best cast of all of them?
I mean, the good actors, but
yeah,
Blanchett's
honestly.
dull and the green screen's annoying.
Best villain of all of them? Kate Blanchett?
No.
But
Might
I'm going
be.
to watch Ford because we've been watching Ford's progress on the Ford Fiesta from paging Mr. Ellis and Dead Heat and the Merry-Go-Round all the way to I'm be curious to just watch him this time during the movie and see how great he is. Maybe let everything else go that I was disappointed by previously.
One of the things,
in that movie.
one of the greatest things about the Indiana Jones films is that he is, he's the king of adventure, but he's also just a normal guy.
Just a normal guy.
He fucks up so much. He's a college professor who fucks up a lot. You know,
Part-time.
He's
to that
making this up
point,
as he goes.
The action beats are so great because he gets tired and he doesn't, he's not like a typical action hero who keeps going. Like, you see it weighing down on him. He's dealing with all this stuff, and it's something that, like, Mandalorian actually did, like, stuff just out of those movies in a bunch of their action sequences where even Mando's kind of just feeling beat down. Like
the Jawa chase. That's one of my favorite parts of that whole series.
You see that happening because that we realize that a character like that needs to feel like we can relate to him, and there's nothing more relatable than a character who, like us, if we were in one of those situations, I'd be out in like 3 minutes. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even last that long.
But if we were boxing the bald guy underneath the flying wing, we also would not run in James Bond and hit him with our left and right. We'd have to grab the dirt and try and throw it in his eyes and try point down at his shoelace. I mean, he's just such a funny everyman that it's just so much more relatable than James Bond. I mean, I love James Bond, but one thing that James Bond doesn't have that Indiana Jones does is nobody that's ever played Bond is anybody's favorite actor. But Harrison Ford is such an icon. He is a lot of people's favorite actor, far more than Daniel Craig, I'd say. I mean, he's so iconic on his own, and he brings that to Indiana Jones, which is
Connery's up there,
riff
though,
on
man.
Bond.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of people have Connery as their favorite actor. I feel it's not besmirch the name of the late great Sean Connery, but I
Wait, Harrison Ford?
No, look, I got Ford on my wall. Okay, I've got Club Obi-Wan behind me. I specifically angled this so I could put my Club Obi-Wan art here. But but I'm just saying. You said nobody's favorite actor is anyone that's played Bond. Sean Connery is someone who's a lot of people's favorite actor.
I guess so.
Timothy Dalton's my favorite actor.
Honestly,
For the
Timothy
greater
Dalton,
good.
I love Timothy Dalton. He's one of my favorite Bonds.
So I just want to say a
Lazenby,
couple-
I love
want to
all of
say a
his
couple more
movie.
things. Let me finish with this. Couple things. That we talked about character arcs too, and that maybe Sparrow doesn't have one. Yeah, you talk about Ford or Indy being the everyman, but he's a professor. And the thing, again, I always find something new every time I watch the movie. I forget that they introduce him as an expert on the occult.
Oh yeah.
When the CIA guys come to see him, you're an expert on the occult, which is just crazy thing to know. And then to know by the end of the first movie, when he says to keep your eyes shut, he understands the power of God, and you should respect it and not look at it. Ditto with the penitent man shall pass at the end of Last Crusade. That sort of growth is really cool to see in this character that you don't see in some of the other characters out there. And one thing you see, also the action sequences. Are there any characters in something as great as the truck chase, the tank sequence in Crusade, the plane sequence, the minecart chase, like all those?
The boulder.
The opening cave scene. Yeah, all those are better. And so
what an introduction, stepping out of the shadows.
I'll just say this, and the other thing about not putting Indy number one might just be something you can't help.
It's not. I can't help. I'm sorry.
You can't because you're young. Yeah. If you saw Indiana Jones introduced to the world on the big screen in the early 80s, change your life. Change your life.
It probably-
If even just saying, "Oh, I saw Jurassic Park when I was a kid."
Probably would have changed my mind if I had seen it from the start. Like a lot of these action films, I've come a little later to. It is what it is for me. Inigo, we just real quick. Inigo's my number 2, just because from the moment another movie I came to late. The moment he came on screen, I just thought he was cool as hell. Man of honor, being able to go every response he had to Westley, just the coolness he had throughout the entire film is what connected to me. And I guess I didn't connect as quickly to the coolness of Indy, and that's why I have him as number 2. Just the honor that he has, the tenacity he had of going to get his revenge, the one-liners, of course, being able to say that over and over again. For me, I just always loved how cool he was, on top of how well Mandy Patinkin just played that role. That's why he was number 2 for me, and I had to make the choice. You all are not wrong about Indy. Hey,
what number did you have Indy at?
Indy 3. Indy was 3. Inigo was 2.
And I wanted to piggyback something off of something Preston said about the growth of that character. It's especially interesting when you go back and you realize Temple of Doom is like one of the early prequels in this like world of doing that with a character, and he is only in it for fortune and glory at the time. And then to see where he is by the time you get to the end of Raiders, it's a totally different character. And he comes so far. I just always thought that was so cool.
Belongs in a museum.
Continued. Yeah, like all the way up to Last Crusade. Like the way that character has continued to grow is really cool. And he's really the only one on this list other than the Craig version of Bond that really has had really great character arcs.
And if we can talk about impact on society, you realize the film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is one of 2 films that are responsible for the PG-13 rating.
Gremlins is the other.
Gremlins is the other, exactly. Like before Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is rated PG, even though they rip a goddamn man's heart out because they're like, yeah, but kids need to see this.
Jaws was rated PG. Poltergeist was rated PG. Spielberg was famous for pushing way lower ratings than ordinarily those things would get to get more money in the box office. And finally they were like, dude.
Which is why the debate about Multiverse of Madness's rating over the last couple of weeks has been so ridiculous to me.
It's a silly debate.
It's a stupid debate. Temple of Doom literally had someone's heart ripped out on screen and it was PG.
Right.
Yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark showed a goddamn man's face melt.
Yeah.
His head blow up. Same as in Scanners.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's everybody's number 1s going through it. I am almost the only one who didn't have Indy in my top 3 because I had Jack Sparrow saving him. I think everybody else, except for Barbarian had Ian Malcolm as number 2, had either Bond or Indy. PJ saved Bond, and everybody else, the movie guys, Smets and Barbarian, saved Indy. Before we get out of here, I have a question for each of you. But go ahead, Barbarian.
It was very close, 2 and 3 for me with Bond and Malcolm. It was almost a coin flip, I will say. But, yeah.
All right, you can't. Enough.
Rash is like, no more recanting.
You're done, Greg.
Before we get to the end of the show, though,
Don't look at the choices.
I'm going to show some of the chat lists. But here's my question for you all. It's a question I like to ask at the end of every episode. If there is one character, an action-adventure geek character, who would shake up your list, not necessarily number 1, not necessarily number 6, but would shake up your list in one way or another, like the biggest, just like, okay, this is going to move things around, who would it be? And I'll give you all a little bit of time to talk about that. But for now, we got a couple people in the chat. A lot of Indies or Bonds is number 1. PLD saved Indy, had Bond at number 2. So did Garth. My old Warzone partner in the fan leagues, Mr. Ryan Payne, saved Bond. Somebody agreed with me in Jack Sparrow. Thank you, Brian. I do appreciate it. But for the most part, everybody kept Indiana Jones.
I have a very...
It's an amazing testament to that character. He just came so fully formed. It's just incredible.
Craig,
a very obvious choice for my who would shake up my list.
Go ahead and start it off. What person or what character would shake up your list?
Conan the Barbarian. Now you have to throw in Lord Calidor from Red Sonja because that is Conan.
No deal.
In my head canon, that's the same character.
It's the same character. It is literally that is the character of Conan the Barbarian. He is the same character. He's just he just doesn't tell her that his name is Conan.
Really?
It's the same world. I mean,
well, no, not really, but yeah, I know
legally, officially, but it's like it can be argued. It can be argued that Lord Calidor is Conan, but no, that like Conan. Look. There's a reason they call me the Barbarian. And
Jack Colton from Romancing the Stone. I just saw that in the chat.
Yeah. Nice, but no, I have much love for Arnold's character, and when you talk about growth, with the Conan movies, it's not even just about about character growth, but it's also about just like understanding who this character should be. And if you watch the first John Milius Conan film, it's like this very serious drama. And then if you watch the second film, Conan the Destroyer, it's all of a sudden they're like, no, this should be funny. And it's like
he punches a camel in the first one, though.
He punches the camel in the first one, and then in the second movie, he sees the camel and tries to apologize it for punching to it because they're like, oh, it's a comedy now. He's apologizing to the camel for punching it, and the camel spits out again, and he punches it a second time while he's apologizing to it. Oh,
Kev, what about you? Who would there be a character who would shake up your list?
Yeah, I think, man, I forgot about Jack Colt. I've been trying to tell PJ they need to add Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile to the Pulp IG.
I'd have loved to do that. Maybe in the future.
Yeah. No, I think like Mad Max for me because I just love those films. I think that would have.
Have you mentioned that?
That might have made an interesting debate for me. 1 and 2 easily is always Indian Bond for me, but I think Sparrow might have had a little run for his money with Mad Max coming through because I just think that Mad Max just transcended so many different just styles of filmmaking too. I mean, the first movie not even takes place.
It invented its own.
Yeah, it really did.
Invented a kinetic filmmaking that kind of didn't exist in a way before.
And he can exist in Fury Road, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Amazing.
Like he barely talks, dude, but like you're just so invested in him. So I think that Mad Max for me, and like it got 2 votes on that list, so it was crazy.
Adam, what about you? Who would shake up your list?
Beastmaster.
All right.
Mark Singer is Beastmaster. We throw the entire thing out of whack. Where do you put Beastmaster once you throw him into the bunch there? I don't know if he knocks out Indiana Jones, but he throws the whole thing into some chaos, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. For me, I'm trying to figure out between 2 because as much slander as some of y'all have gotten it, The Mummy is one of my favorite movies ever. But in my heart, I think Artist Bay, Oded Fair's character in The Mummy, the Magi. My mom was in love with him, had the biggest crush on him. And again, just the coolness he exudes. For me, he'd throw some things out of whack. I used to make these lists, just be like, I'm make the 6. Like one of the Princess Bride dudes would be going, and he'd be going in there for me, just for my own personal love for him. PJ, what about you?
I think everyone assumes that I'm going to say Cliff and the Rocketeer, and I just saw that Steven said it in the chat. But actually, mine would probably be Zorro. That character is the archetype for a lot of the hero characters we like, and we've had so many iterations, so many versions of the character. And The Mask of Zorro, talk about a perfect movie. That's another one. It's one of the last great pulp movies we got. Banderas was great in it. Like that movie had such an impact on me as a kid. I don't know if it would be number 1, but like you throw him in there, and it's suddenly my list is looking a little different.
And Tornado is one hell of an animal sidekick.
They should let the guy who directed that Bond movie. I bet it would be great.
Yeah, it's almost like he made 2. Damn.
I wish we'd go on that pulpy tear we went on after Batman before. I want another Shadow. I want another. Another Rocketeer. I love that phase.
A Rocketeer Disney Plus show, aren't they? Called
Rocketeer.
Rocketeer.
They're doing a movie. It's a movie, apparently, but we haven't heard anything in like a year. So.
Oh.
I recently did a rewatch of The Shadow, and oh my god, that movie's so fucked up. It's great.
I actually saw Batman '89 on the big screen last night for the first time, and it was like a complete religious experience.
Oh,
for me.
Dude, how awesome! Shit. Where do you see that at?
We have, like Preston was talking about, you guys all have like a lot of nice theaters down in LA, but we have a theater down in Tucson called The Loft. It's a little indie theater. It's got 3 screens. It's been running for 50 years.
Oh, cool.
And every week they do 10 p.m. screenings that they call cult screenings, and I try to hit them. It's always stuff that I never got to see in theaters. So last night was Batman 89.
Oh,
Awesome.
the best.
Yeah.
Did you guys like Jurassic Park 3D, by the way, when it was in 3D?
I loved it. Yeah.
That was so fun.
I did.
The tree
I
scene
saw
with
it.
Tim was like really cramped. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I digress.
And Paul, what about you? What character would shake up your list?
It's got to be like a geek action adventure. So
Yeah.
was Neo in your sci-fi bracket?
Neo wasn't my sci-fi. He was one of the 6. Actually.
Yeah, so I don't know who that would leave. I mean, because Terminator. I mean,
Robert
Terminator.
Forster in Black Hole.
I'll back you on Bourne. I'll just
I
stay
mean,
there.
because Bourne,
should be
or even more so Martin Riggs, would
Oh,
probably be
Riggs.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 of my favorite action characters ever.
You know,
Hey, we'll put them in there. That's fine. Those would be the ones that shake up your list if they were on
Ash
there.
would have been good too.
Riggs would shake some shit up.
Ash, yeah.
Ash
Yeah.
from Evil Dead and Army.
Oh,
Darkness.
Ash would shake.
dude,
There's
that's
a good one.
That's a real good one.
Oh,
Ash would have
boy.
changed everything.
So
Oh,
with
who
the
would
fan
Ash
vote,
know?
Still love you, fans. You made fun
Yeah.
choices, but
yes. Speaking of the fan vote, at the end of the day for the fan vote, they also had Indiana Jones as their number 1, James Bond is
Okay.
their number 2, and Jack Sparrow is number 3. But now we got to figure out who's moving on to the tournament. I think it's fairly known, but just to make sure, the way it works out, every first place vote between us 6 and the fans for number 7 gets 5 points. Second place vote gets 3 points, and third place vote gets 1. So with that, we already know Indy with 29 points.
Yeah.
Kill the game.
I mean,
Kill the game. He's pretty high up there. Ian Malcolm got a bit of love from Barbarian, so he got 4.
Should've been
Wesley
Alan Grant.
got no love.
Ooh.
None whatsoever.
Wesley taking a hit.
Smets gonna die on that
But
hill.
my man Inigo, I had to show him something there. So my one little second place vote got him there.
Almost.
I'd like to point out that Ian Malcolm did finish higher than Inigo, though.
He did. Jack Sparrow coming in. Okay.
All
With
right,
number 9.
respectable. Look,
know
he's up
Indy-
against Indy. You know?
Yeah.
We know Indy's number 1. He's going through. So it's between Jack Sparrow and Bond. And I think it's pretty well known based off where it is. Mr. James Bond with 18 points is coming in. And
Wow.
so
A
with
resounding
that,
victory by Indy.
with that, the two characters coming through for next week. With that, we do have Indiana Jones and James Bond moving forward to the next
Wow.
round
Wow,
to face
again.
Look
our
at those
two
icons, man.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
tough.
You know the screen, not this one, but the screen you showed before this, the video. It almost looked like you were putting together the poster for Cowboys and Aliens. So
Nice, really close. But going up, Indiana Jones and James Bond in the second round will be going up against Marty McFly and Ellen Ripley, which
Wow.
Gonna be a fun
You
one.
guys are gonna do that.
If
dude.
any of you gentlemen would like to come on, we do like to have repeats. So I might be reaching out to y'all to see if you'd like to just go through
I don't
those
know if I
four.
can handle that pressure.
Go through
I
those
mean,
4.
So someone needs to get on to battle Amaru's anti-indie bias.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe
I
the
don't have an
panel
anti-indie
needs to come
bias.
back.
I just like Jack Sparrow and Inigo Montoya a lot. But anyway, it is towards the end of the episode, and you know what that means for you, those of you watching. It is my riddle for the next episode of One Gotta Stays, One Geek Tournament. And next episode, we are going to go back to the streets to fight crime. And right now, it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna get nuts. Almost
You want to get
as
nuts?
Almost as nuts as the Oscars deciding to go to Twitter to let the fans vote for the most cheer-worthy moment. You know what? We're gonna get off of that. It's gonna be all right because going into this, I'm gonna have you got, as long as you got me, I got you. We've got each other. And as long as that happens, you won't have to come to me saying, compelling me to tell any truths. I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is these choices are going to be hard. About as hard as walking into no man's land with nothing but bubble gum and a baseball bat. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this next episode. So excited that I just have 3 words for you. Here we go. And with that, for PJ, for Paul, for Craig the Barbarian, for the Smasher Kevin Smets, and for one Mr. Adam Witt. We are out of here.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points